I love creating things, and if I feel that something could be done better, I will step in and try to do it.
Richard Branson top 9 rules for success. You see, there are many entrepreneurs that I study, that I follow, and Richard Branson is one of my heroes. Not just because he is a billionaire, but he's the only entrepreneur in the world that has built 12, not one, not two, 12 billion-dollar companies in 8 different sectors. I want you to think about this. Just to build, forget a $100 million company, a $1 billion company in one sector, that is already extremely difficult in someone's lifetime. To build 12 different companies in 8 different sectors, to be able to do that, just think about it. How innovative he has to be, how good he has to be as an entrepreneur. So today I want to share with you his top rules for success.
At an early age, I didn't know I was dyslexic at the time, but I am dyslexic. And therefore, when I went off to school, I found conventional schoolwork hopeless. IQ tests, I would turn them upside down, and whichever way I turned them, I couldn't make sense of them. I decided at a very young age that I needed to get out of this environment and carve my own way in life.
So same thing when Richard Branson has learning disability, where it's difficult for him to learn, and maybe the school system label him a certain way, and probably not labeling him as you're going to be super successful and be a billionaire. Same thing with me. When I first came to Canada, I was a C student. I wasn't one of those people that had a good education or that had a good resume. In fact, I never ever graduated from college. I never went to university. So that's just me. There's a saying is, C students, the students that don't do particularly well in school, they are the ones who go out there and build companies, and they are the entrepreneurs, and eventually the B students and A students end up working actually for the C students. That happens too. So don't let that hold you back. Just because someone labels you a certain way, or you don't do well in school, and comment below if you are not an A student. That's perfectly fine. I didn't do that well in school. Richard didn't do that well in school.
To become an entrepreneur is not easy, and a lot of people who try to become entrepreneurs, they fail along the way, but good ones pick themselves up and they try again until they succeed. What an entrepreneur needs to do, first of all, is come up with an idea that will make a positive difference to other people's lives. And if you've got an idea that's going to make a positive difference to other people's lives, you've got a chance of building a business. And then you need to get a great group of people around you who believe in what you're trying to do. And then you need to just say, screw it, let's do it, and get on and try it.
You see, as an entrepreneur, it's not about you being just knowing everything and you'll be able to do everything. No, first you gotta have a good idea, like Richard Branson says. Then you might have a chance, not guaranteed, but you might have a chance for success. Here's my definition of an entrepreneur. I believe an entrepreneur is a person with a vision who orchestrates other people's time, money, resources, and talents to make his or her vision real. Ponder on that.
Somebody came along to the magazine with a tape. I loved the music. Didn't have a record company. Sent him to lots of other record companies. Nobody would sign him, and so decided to form a little record company around him. And his name was Mike Oldfield. His album was called Tubular Bells, and it did well. So that was the start of our record company.
I could so relate to this. I remember when I was a copywriter, at first I was struggling to get clients because I was so young. I was 20-some years old, and with my thick accent and average English, and it wasn't easy to get clients. And I thought to myself, what could I do to elevate, to take me to the next level? A little bit faster, because I needed to make money to pay off my debt and also to support my mom. And I was talking with other more seasonal, more experienced copywriters back then, and they were all telling me the same thing. Well, Dan, you gotta pay the dues. You got to write for a lot of people for free for many, many years, and then eventually, maybe after 10 years, you'll be able to charge what we charge, which is maybe could be $5,000, $10,000 per client, or I was charging a few $100s per client. So I thought to myself, that's not very good. I don't have that much time. What could I do? I need to ignore conventional wisdom. Instead of taking the stairs, I want the elevator. Where's the elevator button? I want to find what is the shortcut. What could I do to accelerate my progress? So I came up with the idea. I put together a little product, a little program called $1 Million Marketing Secrets of the World's Greatest Copywriters. I know it's a long title. It's not a good title. I was 20 some odd years old, okay? So give me a break here. But that's the best title I could come up with at the time. And here's what I did. I interviewed some of the best copywriters on the planet at the time, right? And I was in my 1-bedroom apartment. And the way that I would record it is through a little cassette tape player. That's correct. Not MP3, not Skype, not Zoom, cassette tape player, okay? One of those, right? And I would record it. And because I didn't have any like recording device, this is how I recorded the interview. So I approached them, and I have my phone, landline, and have my recorder like this. So if I interview them for like an hour, that's the whole interview. Now, just to make sure, because my voice is too loud when I record this way, I would do the interview like this, right? For an hour, just like that. And I interview 18, 19 of them. I put together this little product. I was nobody. I was doing this interview in my 1-bedroom apartment, living with my mom, right? But when I approached some of these some of the biggest copywriters and marketers on the planet, they didn't say no. No one questioned me. No one was asking me, well, how is it gonna work? I just asked. Instead of giving them a business card, I would give them this package of cassette tapes, right? And I would say, hey, this is a program. You can listen to the interviews I did with other successful copywriters, and they charge a whole lot of money. It could be $10,000, $15,000 per campaign. I only charge $3,000, $4,000, right? And boom, right there. It's branding by association. And then I built my career from then on, right? Stacking your success. So initially, maybe you're starting from scratch. Maybe you don't have a lot of resources. It's not about resources. It's not about having resources. It's about being resourceful.
I'm willing to double down, maybe more than I recommend to other people. But there have been occasions where I've got my wife to sign this bit of paper and she hasn't realized that the house has been put on the line for the next business venture.
I think as an entrepreneur, a lot of people, they think entrepreneurs, we take crazy risk. And Richard Branson, obviously, he takes a lot of risk. I used to take a lot more risk, but as I have matured, as I'm a little bit now wiser, a little bit more experienced, right, as an entrepreneur, that we still take a lot of risk, but we take calculated risk. Meaning, before we do anything, we are not so blinded by our own ego where we just, okay, you know what, I'll put everything on the line. We have done that a few times, right? But then as you become more successful, now you're not just looking at the bright side or what's the upside. The first question that I ask is, what's the downside, right? What's the risk involved, right? What happens if it doesn't work, right? What would be the consequences? And can I live with those consequences? So I think we need to, as an entrepreneur, to expect the best, but also prepare for the worst.
Never use the I word. I mean, it's, you know, you're a team. We're doing this. We're doing that. Just never ever, you know, let it sort of center on yourself, and just be a great leader of people.
I think that is one of the most important qualities of an entrepreneur, and that's leadership. And leadership is not easily taught, right? It's not something that you can just read from a book. And there are many, many leadership books out there. But what Richard Branson is talking about, there's no I in leadership. It's we, how we do it together as a team. So even with Team Dan Lok, with my brand, although it's my name, but really, Team Dan Lok, it's not me. The Team Dan Lok, it's us. it's my entire team. My organization, it's my entire team. Every single person has their role so that I could do what I do. I play a part in it, but every other members within my team plays a very, very important role as well.
I mean, the absolute key is how good you are with people, and if you if you genuinely care about people, if you can surround yourself with people that genuinely excited about what you're doing, if you if you can draw out the best in people, if you're if you're good at lavishing praise on people and not criticizing your people and inspiring your people. That's something you just have to do from day one.
Easy to say, not easy to do. I think part of leadership is that the ability to influence, but also to inspire others, right? It's easy to just, if you have good people and you work with good people and we want good people, but sometimes how do you inspire good people to be great when they don't even believe in themselves? Right? As a leader, how do you instill that belief in them, right? How do you let them know that you believe in them even more than they believe in themselves? That's leadership. That's how you inspire. That's how you empower. Because I was a control freak in the early stage of my career, right? I was what I call a rugged individualist, right? If it's my way or there's the highways, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. And I didn't trust other people. I didn't believe that they could do it better than me. I didn't believe they would care like I do. And that limited my company's growth back then. Versus now that I have this amazing team and it is about people, and then we bring on so many people, I'm counting on my people, and very often, in almost all cases, they could do what they do way better than I could do, like their job. No way, right? I don't know how to do it because that's their expertise, that's their passion, that's what they're good at. I know what I'm good at, and I focus on the 3 or 4 core competencies that I have, so I could focus what I call my zone of genius. I just focus on what things that I'm brilliant at, right? The things that I'm not good at, the things that I'm maybe even average at, I would delegate those to my team.
It was a bit like selling a child. I told the staff, burst into tears, ran down back towards my house with tears streaming down my face. You passed this sign that said Branson sells for $1 billion. And I realized life wasn't that bad. People said at the time we were mad to, sell the record company to put the money into an airline. As it turns out, of course, the record industry's collapsed, and the airline industry hasn't done too badly for us.
I love how humble he is. Well, most people, they think like that, and the record industry collapsed, and hasn't done so bad. He built $1 billion company. Oh, it hasn't done so bad. He's so humble, but as an entrepreneur, I think there's an underlying lesson there to be able to see a little bit further ahead, to know that, okay, what I have is good, but you don't want to sell in a down market or sell in an up market, right, as a company. So you want to think about, okay, if whatever I'm doing now, maybe the technology might be obsolete, or what about the needs in the marketplace? What about consumers' behaviors? Are there any changes? You need to predict, you need to be able to see just a little bit further. You don't want to be reactive when these changes happen, right? You don't want to be like panicking when these things happen. You want to just see a little further ahead, especially nowadays with technology changes like that. You need to see 2, 3, 5 years where things are going to be. And that's the way that I see it. The way I see my business, the way I see my organization is what is going to make us obsolete. What is gonna destroy us? What is going to take us out of business? I want to know and I want to see, and if I know there's something that is going to disrupt what I do, guess what I do? If I know there's something that is going to kill the business, I want to be the one that kills my own business. Meaning, I want to be the one who is a disruptor. I want to think ahead. I want to think 2, 3, 5, 10 years ahead, so that I want to be there first, so I don't need to wait. Just like Blockbusters and Netflix, very good example. Blockbuster didn't see how internet, how video streaming would disrupt the industry. They thought they are in the video rental or game rental business, when in fact they're in the entertainment business, right? And where consumers are going, how they're consuming content, how they want to consume content. The executives at Blockbusters don't see that. I don't want to do that. I want to see, that is what's going to put us out of business. I want to be the one who puts us out of business, and we invent my business model every few years. Every few years. That's how I see it.
You know, if you want to be a true entrepreneur and, you know, build a lot of different businesses, you've got to be a great delegator. Try to find people who are better than you all the time. Try to find people who are better than you to put you out of business effectively. So, you know, whatever you're spending all your day doing, try to find someone who's better than you to do that, to replace you at it, so that, you know, you can go off and, you know, think about the next big picture. You know, an entrepreneur is not a manager. I mean, an entrepreneur is somebody who is great at conceiving ideas, starting ideas, building ideas, but then handing over to really good managers to manage the businesses.
I am not a micromanager. I am a visionary. I think of ideas, I come up with ideas, but I need implementers within my business, managers to execute my vision, but I'm the creative type. So I'm very, very clear. That's what I'm good at. As an entrepreneur, like Richard Branson said, you are always thinking about the next big idea, right? And then you're thinking about where the company's going. You're not necessarily the one that's doing the day-to-day. In the beginning, when you are running a smaller business, you have to be doing everything, right? You are the janitor, you are the bookkeeper, you are the salesperson, you are the accounting, you are the legal, you're doing everything, right? But as you grow, you have a team around you and you have to learn to delegate. I believe at first, as you grow, you're doing everything. At first, maybe you want to delegate things that you're not good at, things that you're terrible at, which those should not be difficult to find people to help you out with that. Because why? You're terrible at it, right? And then later on, you can delegate things that you are maybe average at, things that you're average. And then later on, you delegate things that you are good at, that you're actually pretty good. You have some experience. You've been doing this for a while now. You have some skill sets. And then later on, you delegate what you're actually great at. And these might be the things that actually took your company from this point to this point. But if you want to go from here to there, so you go from here, and if you're in there, you need to then delegate even what you are great at. You want to find people who are even better than you. So then you only focus on the vision and you focus on what you're brilliant at, meaning only you can do that no one else can do, which is setting the visions for the company, finding good people, attracting good people, allocate your resources, raising capital, or establishing those high-level relationships. Those things, as a CEO, you cannot delegate.
How many Virgin brands?
I think we have about 350 Virgin brands around the world.
We suddenly realized, you know, we actually have, you know, something which is something we've got to protect and we've got to nurture. The brand is ultimately what Virgin's all about. I wasn't thinking, right, let's just take this brand into lots of different areas. I just felt, you know, we can do better in health clubs. We can do better in mobile phone business.
We want Virgin to be, you know, a company which we can be proud of, but more to the point, we want Virgin to be, you know, the greatest force for good company in the world and making a real difference in the world. And that's something that everybody who works for Virgin can be really proud of.
I think we all have a primary question that drives us every single day, right? As an employee, maybe the primary question you have is, when am I going to get my check? Or, you know, how many vacations I want to take a year, right? Or how I'm going to pay my bills. Every single person has a primary question that you play. It's almost like a CD, right? You play in the back of your mind. That you ask yourself these questions, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously every single day. But I think as an entrepreneur, you notice, Richard Branson said it many, many times. What's his primary driving question? Comment below, see if you know. It's the same question that I ask myself every single day. And that is, how can I make it better? That's what drives us. Because that's our obsession. Whatever we do, we see an industry, we see something within the company, we see something within our people. How can we make it better? it could be just a little 5%, 10% here and there, but how can we make it better? And as other people thought, well, you cannot make it better than that, then we ask, how can we even make that better? How can we make it better? That's what drives us. And I believe that's what drives entrepreneurs. They see something, a product, a service, a need in the marketplace that's not being fulfilled, that doesn't meet the standard. They say, hey, I can do better than that. I can create something better than that. I can fulfill the need better than that. And they go and execute and put together a team of people. That's what entrepreneur. That's what entrepreneur does. That's all entrepreneur does. So primary question, how can I make something better? So those are the top 9 rules for success for Richard Branson. If you like this video, make sure you comment below. If there are other people that you would like me to make a video on, kind of like this, sharing their rules of success and my perspective and my insights from my point of view, comment below, put in your name and let me know. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.